Welcome to Set the Record. I'm Malcolm Anthony, and all the way from Houston, Texas, we got Cody.
What it do from the 713, baby?
Yo, man, editor-in-chief right there. Subscribe to the show wherever you're watching on YouTube, of course, listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars, okay? We out here working for them, watching these games, doing our research, and I tell you what, check us out on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Set the Record Pod, and like the Facebook page, Set the Record Podcast. We have a great show planned. We are talking some NBA. We are talking some NFL. And I tell you what, we're talking some serious in-season tournament stuff. So look, we're going to first kick this off with the Clippers, who got their first win in the James Harden era. And it happened against your Houston Rockets. I'm sorry, my friend. What happened?
Whatever. I mean, James Harden just hit it. Listen, for me, I finally understand how it feels. Being a Houston and a Harden fan, seeing him do that to other teams and then have that happen to me, I just feel like, oh, that's how that felt.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that one against the Warriors where he shot it in between two defenders and it still went down.
It's out.
I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. But no, the Clippers, I mean, when you look at it beforehand, I already had a feeling that we were going to lose it just before the game started because, I mean, 0-6 with a team that good, they were due to win a game.
Yeah, they had to.
And, the Rockets 6-0 or 6-10 win streak were rolling. We were due to
looking good.
We were due to take a loss somewhere.
Yeah.
Obviously, as much as I would have loved it, we're not going to go undefeated the rest of the season. So it was just one of those games where it's like, well, this needs to happen. This needs to happen. Oh, perfect.
And in group play, unfortunately had to lose one there. And the Clippers needed it. Like you said, they win at 106-100. And of course, on a 4-point play, James Harden pulls it. He didn't do nothing the whole fourth quarter. Okay, come on, man. And then
but the whole game he was good.
No, he played
the game.
Played a fine game. He played a fine game, except
who was doing things in the fourth quarter?
What's that?
Who was doing things in the fourth quarter?
Man,
Kawhi Leonard. And you know what happened in the last few seconds when he had to win the game? He got locked up by Jabari.
He dished it right back. He dished it
right back to James, and James hit that. But very impressive. Even though we lost, I'd say it's very impressive performance still by Houston defensively. Defensively, holding the Clippers down to 106. The defense still, one of the things I was questioned, still holding up, right? Definitely. Defense right now is third in the league when it comes to like points per 100 possessions. So, still a top 3 defense, and to hold down a team of all-stars for that long, obviously shots are going to be hit, right? That's what it comes down to. At the end of the day, their star power could out-hit ours.
What shots do you think of Russell Westbrook not getting so many minutes, man? He only ended up with 17 minutes and took away 9 shots in this game.
I think, first off, I have a lot of respect for the move that he made, going to the coaching staff saying, hey, we have to do something. Take me off the bench. I've done it before. I can run that second unit. It won't be. That way there's not much of a, thing for the other guys. It has to be one of them. Let me do it. I can respect that because you recognize that you have to win. Something has to change. What you've been doing hasn't been working.
Someone's got to take that role. And what better than the second point guard on the team?
Right. And in the fourth quarter, the move from, even though he got taken out of the game, it was a good move by Tyronn Lue, because what the Rockets were doing was, hey, let's double off of Westbrook.
Yeah.
And double off of Westbrook. He was taking a lot of shots, missing a lot of shots. Ty Lue recognized that, pulled him from the game. And, it's fine. If I'm Russell Westbrook, obviously you'd want to be out there, but
no doubt.
You also got to hit your shots. But no, he had a good performance. He wasn't really killing the team. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And it was just good coaching decision right there at the end of the game.
Oh, I totally agree with that. All right, yeah, no, Clippers still out here, out of the pretty much out of the in-season tournament, but they're still
well, 1-2 now, so mathematically eliminated.
Still playing games. Now, other teams out here still playing, still winning. Lakers out here playing some pretty good basketball lately, turning some things around. beat a Portland team that they should have definitely beat and did handily. So that is nice. You want to see
Hey,
that if
hey,
you
that's
are.
important in the league, beating the teams you're supposed to beat.
Yeah, yeah, you think? Yeah. And right now, I think that's been a Laker issue is not always playing up to the standard. You're kind of playing down to your competition sometimes. And right now, this is how they should be kind of playing right now. 7-6, just middling 500, but still out here. Anthony Davis needs to play better. That's the Laker Nation wonder. What is Anthony Davis gonna do? When is he gonna play some solid 25 and 15 basketball? But I don't think that's
Yeah.
ever gonna be on the horizon.
And next game against the Rockets, right? So we have a team looking to keep building their momentum, and then the other team looking to get theirs right back after taking a quick L. So that should be a fun matchup. This time, Anthony Davis should be playing.
No, and it will be a fun matchup because it's another Brooks and Braun matchup,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Who
yes
doesn't want
sir.
to see that?
Hey, those are fun. I'm sure the media loves those every time they
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah,
You
who
know,
doesn't love a good story, a good narrative, especially the media?
yep. And last time Brooks got the better of the matchup, and this time, LeBron's thinking he wants to change that, right? Because not even looking at it from a personal one-on-one standpoint, he wants to win the game.
No, yeah, no, and they need to. This is part of the season where the Lakers need to pick up wins against teams. Truthfully, they should be better than. I'm not like digging or poking, but like
Yeah.
it should be better than the Rockets right now, given they have a LeBron James and an Anthony Davis. They've got other supporting cast, Reeves and Reddish and Hachimura and a whole bunch of guys that should be capable of taking this game on. Lakers, I said, on a 6-game winning streak, and Houston, of course, wanting to snap that. So, like,
Right. And then, I mean, you still have over the last 2 weeks, the Lakers still looking mediocre, but trending upwards, right? Taking care of more games that you need to take care of. They're coming into Houston. Houston having the third best defense in the league. They're very disruptive, but what Houston struggles against, and I've watched every game of it, size typically, where it's like there's games where I thought we were for sure gonna lose that we should have lost, but we pulled it out. Like the Pelicans, the Nuggets, games where the size was definitely an issue. And it presented a lot of problems and it was very difficult, but I mean those guys fight. They make you uncomfortable, they make you overcome it. But the Lakers, again, if they use their size, it can be a win for the Lakers, but you also can't let Houston make you uncomfortable. That's what we do.
Y'all have the youth that makes LeBron uncomfortable. That speed all game. He does not like running all game. And I tell you, AD don't like it either.
AD gonna try not to tear a ligament while sprinting up the court.
100%. You see him be walking back sometimes. He ain't having that, man. So, look, that's definitely something to keep an eye on. I tell you, a team even losing tonight against these Bucks, Mavericks look good.
Mavericks look good. They're continuing to prove the doubters, me, wrong, that they can continue to be a good team in the NBA. And the defense, while it hasn't still been there, the offense has been enough to carry them over. And I think the defense will be improving. You saw like Grant Williams been saying that like, hey, the defense is something that we're aware of, and we're going to come together. We're going to get better at that as a team. And, having players like that is very good, especially a player like Grant Williams, who has just been having a great year with the Mavericks.
Yeah, half game out of first right now. Obviously, only, 12, 13 games into the season, but playing really good, solid offense. And, they're going to be picking up the pieces to figure out what they look like on defense. And that's really what the Mavericks should be looking like, as a team that's going to be scoring about 130 a night. And, figuring it out.
But here's the thing with the Mavericks, though. It's like we saw it tonight against the Bucks, right? They just took a loss to the Bucks, where they went against another team that can match their offense.
Right.
So honestly, okay, this was such a high scoring game because both these teams are not good defensively.
Bad. Yeah, very poor defensive teams.
You have Dallas and Milwaukee are right next to each other. There's 7 and 8 worst defenses in the league, so
you wouldn't
big
think
shootout.
Milwaukee would be so bad at defense, but they are definitely not playing good defense right now.
But
132.
Even then, by one, just by one spot, Milwaukee is a slightly better defense, and if they and their offense is also pretty good. So I think if Dallas runs into come playoff time, those teams that are also high-powered offenses and have at least middle of the pack defense, that can present a struggle.
Well, Milwaukee turn it around.
Milwaukee will turn it around.
Brooks is there. Middleton, if he can, somewhat sit in the chair a little bit better, he can be back.
Can't blame him too much though.
No.
Injuries do that to you.
No, I also said they got two guys in like I said, Antetokounmpo and Brooks that are defensive player capable of the year guys. So they can have a good defense. So,
but there's teams like that whose philosophy is, hey, we'll go bucket for bucket with you, and if you out bucket us, like fair game, you won. But there's going to be teams out there that can go bucket for bucket with you and can also stop you a few times while going bucket for bucket. So
and this was that night, and this was that wake up call for the Mavs, this season so far. And Giannis had a great game, 40 points in the game. I said this was the year of the Antetokounmpo. He will get it. He's gonna take it all on. And this was one of those stampede games towards an MVP like season. Lillard had 27 points in the game. And the Mavericks couldn't finish it with Kyrie getting 39. He had like 25 in the second half.
It was a crazy game stats wise. Everybody was going crazy, and then even then Damian Lillard, who didn't have the most points, had 12 assists throughout the game. So high powered offensive game. But see, what do you think these teams like? So another team that's been great this season, Minnesota.
Yeah,
right. Ooh. Been surprisingly very good. A lot of it falls with Anthony Edwards also just taking that leap and being that guy. They're the 1 seed right now, tied with Denver, both 9-3.
Yeah,
they didn't see that coming.
Stayed up top four. Wouldn't be shocked if they stayed up there. But exactly, that's going to be a team for me. I need to see them do it in the playoffs. Just like I felt like Denver last year, I need to see them hold their own in the playoffs.
Okay, yeah, and that's completely a fair take. They've only made the playoffs once recently, right? Or maybe twice. I know they had that one series against Memphis.
Yeah, I feel like they beat Golden State before.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that was a play-in.
It might have been a play-in.
That was the play-in. That was to go versus. That was to get the 7th seed to go against Memphis. No, but so, sorry, that's almost said Milwaukee. Minnesota was that team where coming into the season, we're like, are they going to work out defensively? Is Karl-Anthony Towns, going to fit? Because last season when he was there, they weren't as good. And while individually he didn't have the greatest season to start out with, he's been picking it up. The team's enrolling. And I think right now, there's no reason to change anything. Right now, Minnesota is the second best defense in the league.
Right now, they look defensive. Like a pretty formidable team.
They do. And, like Rudy Gobert's like getting back up there in terms of, where he was in his defensive level, like defensive player of the year level. Like last season was a bit of a drop-off season. Not that great. But the Timberwolves collectively have gotten together. They all sit in that stance. They have a 3-time defender of the year anchoring that defense down. And Anthony Edwards is just instant offense.
Oh man,
instant offense. Don't even let Karl-Anthony Towns start being the Karl-Anthony Towns that we know of, because then that team really will be scary, and it's just gonna rely on the playoffs to see if
they could be seriously dangerous. They can be seriously dangerous if they put all the pieces together. Just like I said, just like the Thunder right now, they can be pretty dangerous if all the pieces go together.
They were one of those teams where I thought they would fall out. I really didn't think they'd make the playoffs. I thought they would be 11 through 15 just going into it, but they surprised me. Speaking of, there's teams who are 11 through 15 who are trying to get in now 1 through 10.
Mm-hmm.
The West is looking crazy.
It's begun.
Man. We've seen there's teams on the rise, teams on the decline in the West. And I mean, that's just going to be a preview of how it's going to go mid to postseason, because man, the Wild West is back.
Warriors, what happened?
The Warriors falling off. I don't know. It just hasn't worked.
5 straight losses.
5
right?
straight losses. And then how's the game versus Thunder going right now?
You hear the Thunder rolling? Did you hear the
Thunder,
Thunder?
the Thunder won. Oh,
Yeah,
there you go.
Oh, Chet, man, pull the 3 to OT.
Well, I mean, one of the reasons for the Warriors is that it's just the Steph show right now.
Yeah.
No one. Wiggins had a great game tonight. It wasn't enough. They still lost or something. But aside from that, Steph has been the only positive of the Warriors so far this season, where nobody else could put up 20 points but Steph.
Draymond got old before your very eyes, and
Right.
Klay Thompson got injured, and he never was the same.
But even then, the whole Chris Paul thing isn't working either. Where I mean, well, statistically, it could be working for their bench unit. Their bench unit's better.
It's not scoring.
But exactly, he can't shoot anymore.
Nah, those days are over, man. They lost that Jordan Poole shooter, man. They needed that, but they needed a Jordan Poole who would dial it back and facilitate more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Jordan Poole, I mean, he's still not.
They needed Chris Poole. They needed
Chris Poole. They needed someone.
A mixture of both. They needed a Jordan Paul. They needed anyone that could do both. And right now they need a scorer and they need a facilitator on the back end of that second unit. So they're in rough shape, and they have the facilitator. They just don't have the score.
Yep, exactly. Their offense is bottom 5 in the league right now, and that's what happens when no one steps up.
Nope, it's true. It's true, and that's kind of where they have missed. I mean, their picks weren't working, man. Their picks, the Kuminga was looking all right.
That's because they were trying to do
there in Detroit.
You can't dual timeline a guy like Steph Curry, or just a team like the Warriors. They were trying to still be contenders on this end, and on this end, kind of build your next. That can't happen as long as you have Steph Curry. As long as you're a championship contender, you have to be all in on winning a championship. So,
and they luckily stole one with that too, man. They got one in that window. They stole one in that window.
Oh well, Jordan Poole was still going crazy. That's where Jordan Poole peaked right there, going crazy in the finals.
Hey, you get that dub, and man, you run with it. So look,
hey, but for the young guys, they're set forever now. They got their championship ring. They can do whatever they.
All right, look, another team that's kind of question marks kind of written on them right now. I think they're just under 500, but the Pelicans. What's up with the Pelicans? What doesn't work about the Pelicans?
I mean, the Pelicans have been a mess. They've been everywhere. Again, one of those games where they were in some games where they should have won. Where I referenced the Houston game.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say Zion's the problem, but I mean Zion recently came out and said that he was trying to buy into the team, and you just can't really have that, right? I feel like that team chemistry wise is not the best.
No, it just feels like some puzzle pieces that don't work.
Yeah.
No, I mean it looks like on paper it looks like it could. Truth be told, they have a center in Valanciunas. I think that fits well because he can spread the floor. I just don't know about. I don't know. Bi and Zion are an odd couple sometimes on the floor. I mean, I'm not sure if it's. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay, well, also though, the Pelicans have had a lot of injuries this season. They've had a lot of key guys out there, so I don't want to jump the gun too much and just say this doesn't work when we haven't seen their full team. We have CJ McCollum's going to be out for a while. Jose Alvarado's been out. Herb Jones has missed some time, so it's like there's a lot of key rotational players that haven't been able to play. Luckily they have Jordan Hawkins, who's been a good rookie so far, but I mean, you're not going to put him in there to win you games when you can put in CJ and Jose Alvarado at the point guard.
Yeah. All right, man.
So I mean, that could be one of those things. But if you're the Pelicans, what are you trying to do right now? Do you try to stick it out and just kind of fight through? Hopefully those guys come back in time. Do you try to buy some pieces to help accelerate your timeline?
I think you do the first option.
The first one, you just try to stick it out.
Yeah, because I feel like the guys you have are so talented, they should figure it out. And maybe it's McCollum that should take a lesser offensive role to figure out, to facilitate and help everyone else get more. I don't know. Bi is so good, man, and Zion needs the ball in his hands. So like, it's just I don't
Well, I
know.
mean, it goes back to the chemistry thing though, because these guys haven't been able to play together. Even Zion throughout his career has
It's no
played
different than
30% of
the
his
Suns right now.
games.
You're looking at the Suns with 4 guys who have yet to
And
play.
that's not working out either right now. They're 6-6. They're barely 500 at the moment because they haven't been able to play together. Like Zion Williamson has played 30% of his games in the NBA when he's been there. So you haven't seen Zion and BI like fully like learn to play with each other. When they did, they were a good team last season, and then Zion gets hurt, or was it BI? One of them gets hurt, and they go on this massive losing streak and fall off a cliff. I think the potential is there. We've seen it. This Pelicans team can be good.
I know,
but they don't have enough continuity to prove it and to really build on it.
Yep, last year before before an injury last year, the first in the West, and then they fell off the freaking map. So,
I think they'll be fine.
No, okay, all right, bet. So switch over to the East side, the B side, right? What do you think? Is Indiana real? Is that are the Pacers are they out here with Halliburton out here effing some folks up? Are they? I mean, is this real? Is this real, man? Halliburton, is this guy as talented as advertised?
I'm buying it. Personally, I'm believing the play. And then you can look back in previous episodes. I predicted before. I said the Pacers are going to be one of those teams where they will be a good team this year. They will jump up, and I think they're similar in the sense of the defense. Yeah, they're similar to a team like the Mavericks. Okay, where they're all offense, no defense, and they've even come out and like acknowledge like, hey, we gonna give up a lot. But we gonna give you a lot back, right?
Guys, man, they got dudes, man. I like the Mathurin. You got Ben Mathurin, Hield, Halliburton.
They have a good roster constructed around Halliburton.
Out over there now, isn't Bruce Brown left over there?
And Bruce, like I'm saying, they have a lot of good pieces there. I think Tyrese Halliburton makes this team.
Dude, yeah.
You've seen, exactly. I think he is the perfect point guard for that team. He's a very good player.
12.5 assists a game right now. Like, this dude's on fire.
This dude's breaking playmaking records like crazy, and is only his fourth year in the league.
Yeah, I think it's his third year.
Year, okay. So to be this young and be this good of a playmaker in the NBA already is special, right? You don't see that anywhere. You don't see this young of a player go get his own team and be this successful like you have seen with Tyrese Halliburton. And just the pieces that they've put around him is perfect. You have a shooter for him. That's Buddy Hield right there. Knockdown shooter, career 40% guy.
Lakers missed
it. Right. You have lob threats for the guy. You have Obi Toppin, who's a very good lob threat. I know he hasn't played a lot yet, but Jarris Walker, another good lob threat for whenever they need it. You have what I deem to be the perfect kind of center in the NBA, like a Miles Turner. And then you have championship DNA on your wing with Bruce Brown. It's a very good constructed team. And I do think that they are legitimate. You're gonna see them in the playoffs. I don't know how many matchups they'll win just for the sake of the defense.
Right. No, I get it. Well, especially because the East is shaping out. We was talking about this pre-show. The East is looking like it's supposed to. Right now,
the top 10 teams are the top 10 teams, right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much that's what it's going to look like. And you've got Toronto and Chicago that may be middling. Charlotte may be right down there at the bottom.
I can see Toronto making trades at the deadline, though. Whether that is to buy or sell, I can't tell you just yet because they've been surprisingly better than expected. But based on how the rest of the season goes up until the deadline, we'll decide what moves they make.
No, absolutely. But yeah, Philly out here, Boston looking really nice. Milwaukee getting wins right now and looking like the team offensively that they should be. And I think defensively they'll shape out through the season. And I think they'll be okay. Now, I don't think they'll be like they were with Coach Bud and with defense as such a high priority.
I mean, they have a first-year head coach. So that first year is going to be the adjustment year. You're not going to be perfect.
Well, let alone you're getting a guy in Dame who's never been a defender. He's not a defender. He can be in front of a guy. He can get some steals. He's been
He can
fine.
sit in the chair.
Like he can do that, but like he's undersized, so people can take advantage of that, especially bigger point guards. So
they don't have a wing stopper necessarily.
Not so like it's all good, but I think they'll be I think that by the end of the season they'll be top 12. You know what I mean?
So, and that's a good range to be in. Like middle of the pack to good. It's good enough to win you a championship, especially if your offense is that good.
Going to be top 5, and their offense is going to be top 5 with the top 12 defense. They should be hanging out the Eastern Conference Finals by the end of the season. So, we'll see.
Offensively, right now they're in the top 10. They're at number 8. So, and that can only get better, right? I mean, the teams. If you look at the teams ahead of them on top offenses, it's Indiana, Dallas, Philadelphia, Boston, Atlanta, Denver, Phoenix, Milwaukee. Okay. That's the top 8. So I can potentially see Phoenix going up. I don't think Atlanta will sustain that much.
Yeah.
I think they could drop in. Indiana at number 1 all season would surprise me, but
they could come down to the pack a little bit more. I wouldn't be shocked by that, but
I think they'll still be top 10, right? Just not number 1. Yeah. But hey, if they are, more power to them. I can respect it, and I won't hate on it. I want it to be good.
Absolutely. No, I completely get that. Yeah, man, that's definitely man, in a nutshell, man. I think how the East is going to look the rest of the season, pretty much just like it looks in the standings right now, unless of course a terrible injury happens to anybody. So we don't want that, knock on any wood around, but yeah, we definitely want a healthy year. We want the injuries turned off on the season if we could.
And we already got a few of those though.
Yeah, I know, man.
Specifically some back stuff. Ben Simmons is still out, like managing his back injury. We've had Bradley Beal out like another 3 weeks with back injuries. Back injuries are the worst thing to see in sports, man.
Hey, check your mic.
Go.
But yeah, no, you are absolutely right. The back injury is definitely something that's been plaguing a few guys right now. Yeah, like you said, Bradley Beal, and the Suns, man. I'm not sure. This is a science project that might not work out, unfortunately. But man, we're gonna skip over to the NFL real quick, man. I think you spoke of injuries, and I think that's a perfect segue because we lost some serious quarterbacks this last weekend, and one he hadn't started off the season so hot, but then
he started getting it back.
Yeah, no, and for some reason, Deshaun Watson hasn't looked like himself. He was out obviously the whole 2 seasons before, and then came back the last 6 of last season, and finally started shaping up to look like somewhat of himself. Had the last second half of the game, 14 of 14, and somehow had a chip in his shoulder, broke it, and finished the game perfect. Like, how do you do that? So something happened.
That's so weird.
There it is, man.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, the editor right
Is
there.
It loud though? How
no,
okay.
Right on the spot, man, like a gangster would.
So, making sure.
So Deshaun Watson out, and then the worst Thursday night football. Two major injuries, really. Losing Joe Burrow on one side of the field, and Mark Andrews, tight end for the Ravens, on the other. But obviously the bigger story there, Joe Burrow, man. Cold as ice Joe, wrist, man. That's no good. And
I mean, that's being investigated right now because they're trying to find out how did you clear him to play? Like, you had to have lied about something, but you hate to see it with Joe Burrow, especially because he was just now starting to get it back rolling after having a bad start to the season. So he started rolling, the Bengals started rolling, and then boom, wrist injury.
Yeah, you
can on the other end, Mark Andrews also is a season-ending injury, bro. Like, what's up with these Thursday night games?
Yeah, well, it's rushing. It's hard to get guys ready. There's literally no time to practice, and you have to go out on the field just after
Less recovery time.
No recovering time. Yeah, exactly. And then you go out there and play some football, which most of these former players describe as getting into a car accident. So if you can imagine getting into a bad car accident and then getting in the car and then getting into another car accident.
I mean, hey, would you like to take a hit from a 250-pound linebacker who can run like a 4.5, like full intentions to hurt you?
You see Kyler Murray. I'm probably 50 pounds lighter than Kyler Murray. I'm gonna get murdered out there.
Yeah, exactly. So like getting hit by a car is probably an accurate assumption of how it feels, because these guys, like, these are big guys coming out here with bad intentions. So, I mean, yeah, and with it being a Thursday game, your body doesn't have the time that it needs to recover. That's why the NFL is once a week, because guys wouldn't survive this being like an NBA schedule where it's every 2 days.
Dude, now football is not played like that. You throw some flag football out there, you can play a few games a week. But
even then, football's getting soft. You saw Josh Jacobs just got fined for unnecessary roughness for putting his head down to get a first down. Like he made a football play, and like it's kind of getting ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, right. Well, they're trying to do everything they can to protect these players from.
But I think you gotta better pick out which plays to fine and which shouldn't. Because for the Jacobs one, he just tried to get a first down. It's not like, is he gonna stand there and let them tackle him? No.
Yeah, but you saw on ESPN the other day, they had a huge fight. Bart Scott had this huge argument with Ryan Clark about that tackle behind the back, where the defenders putting all their weight on the guy they're trying to tackle when they get him from behind, and that ends up tearing.
Oh, well, that one is a scary one, but like those are more
what happened
more reasonable.
I mean, that's what happened to Mark Andrews,
that's why they're making the rule. Also, they made this rule where you as a defender, you cannot use your body weight to sack a quarterback, right? And it makes sense.
Why can you do that against it? That's what I said. It happened to Mark Andrews, and just last year it happened to Patrick Mahomes.
Well, stuff like that where people can get regularly injured is very reasonable. But I mean, if you're trying to tackle somebody from from in front, and you're like, you need to hit him to get him down, because how else are you gonna get him down?
Right. No, I get it, but that's on the review team to do that, to do the due justice on the player, because you can tell intent. If the guy's leaning forward or just trying to make the play.
Was there any fines on the Nick Chubb injury?
I don't remember a fine being put out. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, it was Fitzpatrick, right? Who cut stick Chubb after he was. So I think he was already getting tackled, and he went in there for the cut stick, and that's what imploded his leg basically.
Right, but
stuff like that. I mean, again, he's trying to help make the tackle, but
it's still hard on the defense.
It's very hard to judge what's a football play and what's roughness.
No, I got you. No, I feel that. No, I got that. So yeah, the NFL injuries are really getting to them now. So the Bengals probably going to be out, and really, they might have been out before this game. They're already at the bottom of the AFC North right now, looking up at Cleveland, who is looking for a quarterback, obviously, and looking at Joe Flacco of all people, and the Baltimore Ravens sitting at the top of their division right now. CJ Stroud, man, what do you think of that story? How's this kid, man, just lighting it up?
CJ Stroud, you know me, I got all love for Houston.
Yes, right.
All love for CJ Stroud. I think the Texans just drafted a generational talent, man. Oh, this kid is really special. He's doing crazy things that, it's. Do you think this is better than the Justin Herbert rookie year, or up there with it?
He is on pace to have the best rookie season, hands down, no questions asked.
So, this is generational. You haven't seen a rookie season this good. You can argue some recently, but CJ Stroud is taking over games right now.
Yeah, we've had some good rookie seasons lately. And this kid's definitely top of the heat.
Mm-hmm.
No, also, absolutely. What's up?
Oh, I was going to say we got a crazy matchup coming up this Monday.
Bring it up.
You got Super Bowl rematch, Chiefs versus Eagles. What are we thinking? Who do you got?
Who I got,
Chiefs,
man?
Eagles.
I'm taking Jordan. Nah, yeah, now Mahomes, man. Nah, this guy, yeah, Mahomes. I think after a bye week, this is the time. Both teams, coming off a bye,
Okay,
but
well,
one's at home, and one of these guys, and Patrick Mahomes, has got to get his offense clicking a little bit more than it has been. They've gotten the ball up and down the field pretty well all season long. They're just not getting in the end zone, and Patrick is throwing a few more turnovers and really losing the ball a little bit more than he should be. So I think he buttons that up this time, and against the Eagles team that they've already beat once, and I think they're gonna get him again.
okay. I'll disagree this time. I think that the Eagles have looked like the better football team throughout the season. The Chiefs' struggles have been,
True.
well, not struggles, but they haven't been the same Chiefs that they have been.
I
think
agree.
the Eagles are also still a very good football team. I won't be surprised if Chiefs pull it out or the Eagles pull it out. These are very good teams going at it in a Super Bowl rematch. But yeah, man, that's my prediction. I got the Eagles. You got Chiefs.
All right, bet, man. Hey, great show. Thanks for listening. This was Set the Record Pod. I'm Malcolm Anthony. That's Cody. Hey, check us out. YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Look, we everywhere. TikTok, Instagram. Look, meditate. Make it go away.
Yeah.